The tunnels under Hawkins weren't supposed to breathe, but standing there, flashlights shaking in my hand, I felt the walls slowly expand, then tighten again, like something alive was stretching around us. The dirt was warm. Dull, warm. Dustin swore they were dead, burned out weeks ago. But the air smelled fresh, damp, moving. My radio crackled softly. At first it was just static. Then a voice slipped through, low and distant, like it was coming from underground. Still here. The ground shifted beneath my boots. The lights snapped off, and something large moved under the dirt, following us. We surfaced behind the old pumpkin patch, dirt on our clothes, pretending nothing happened. That's when Will froze. His face went pale, eyes unfocused. He grabbed his head, like he was listening to something we couldn't hear. Mike asked, "What do you see?" Will swallowed. "Not Hawkins." The wind shifted. The sky darkened, just for a second. Then Will whispered, "It knows we..." That night, the power flickered across Hawkins. Streetlights shut off, one by one, moving down the road like footsteps. I stood at my bedroom window, heart pounding. Fog rolled in thick, swallowing the houses across the street. Inside the fog, a shape slowly formed, tall, endless, made of smoke and darkness. It didn't move. It didn't need to. My radio clicked on by itself. A distorted voice whispered, "Run while you remember how." The fog pressed closer to the glass.
School felt wrong the next day. The lights buzzed, louder than usual. The lockers felt warm to the touch. Cracks crawled along the walls, pulsing faintly, like veins under skin. Lucas kicked one, trying to joke. The wall kicked back. A deep hum filled the hallway. The fire alarm screamed. Smoke poured from the ceiling, and through it, the tiles above us rippled. Something massive was pressing down, trying to get in. What was going on? We thought heat would protect us. We were wrong. The mind flayer didn't enter the room. It entered Will. His body stiffened. His eyes went dark. When he spoke, it wasn't his voice anymore. It was deeper, slower, older. "You keep digging," it said through him. "You keep waking what should sleep." Will turned his head toward me and smiled. "You should have stayed buried. Please like and subscribe." We ran to the buyer's house. Every light was on. Every heater blasted hot air into the rooms. Joyce paced back and forth, eyes wide. She stared at Will and asked, "It's closer, isn't it?" Will nodded slowly. "I can feel it thinking." The windows frosted over despite the heat. The lights flickered. A shadow slid across the wall, not cast by anything, just there, and the room went silent. I can't imagine what will happen next. They tied Will to the chair, not to restrain him, but to keep him from walking into the walls. He began drawing without stopping. Tunnels, intersections, nodes. Then something new appeared, a spiral wrapping around Hawkins, layer by layer. Dustin stared at it. "That's not a map." Will looked up. "It's already finished." The lights went out, and the house shook. Something sinister was going on in Hawkins. We went underground again to stop it. Worst mistake we made. The tunnels were wider now, stronger. They reacted to sound and fear. The walls trembled when we breathed too fast. The ground collapsed behind us. Dirt sealed the path shut. Ahead, the tunnel narrowed. The walls began closing in, slow, patient, like they knew we couldn't escape. 11 found us near the core. Blood ran from her nose. She was shaking. "It's too big," she whispered. "It's everywhere at once." The shadow surged behind her, filling the tunnel. She turned, hands raised. The air screamed. Lights exploded. The tunnel shook violently, and 11 screamed louder than anything I'd ever heard. Then everything went dark. We crawled out at sunrise. The sky was pale orange, like nothing bad had ever happened beneath it. No hum, no shaking ground, no breathing tunnels, just birds whined through trees. The distant sound of a car starting. Hawkins looked normal again. Too normal. People walked their dogs. Someone waved from across the street. A police cruiser rolled by, like it was just another morning. It felt wrong, like the town was pretending. We stood there for a moment, blinking in the light, trying to convince ourselves it was over, that we were safe. We were not safe. Will stopped walking, completely still. His face went pale, and his hand slowly rose to his neck, fingers pressing hard, like he was trying to stop something inside him. I asked if he was okay. He didn't answer. His eyes weren't focused on us anymore. They were somewhere far away, somewhere deep. "It didn't leave," he said quietly, not scared, not angry, certain. It learned. A cold wind swept through the street, sudden and sharp. Even though the sun was already warm, leaves skittered across the pavement. Somewhere, a dog began barking, and then abruptly stopped. I looked back toward the woods, toward the ground beneath Hawkins. Nothing moved. Nothing showed itself, but I felt it, waiting, listening, and far away, deep under the town we thought we knew, something breathed in. The sirens started 10 minutes later. Not police, not fire. Every alarm in Hawkins went off at once. Car alarms screamed, store alarms wailed. The school bell started ringing, over and over, without stopping. People covered their ears. Windows shattered. Will drop to his knees, he screamed. The ground split open, down the middle of the street. Black vines burst through the asphalt, snapping cars in half like toys. People ran. The sky darkened in seconds, clouds rolling in, like something was pulling them together. Then the screaming stopped. Everything went silent, and in that silence,